It's your girl Denise Joy of DIY Decorating with Denise Joy. And here's my setup for a test run for my concrete stencil. And if you've been following along, this is the absolutely amazing stencil that I was gifted by Leslie Nesbitt, the creative designer and founder of Rhythmic Walls Design Company. So I really don't want to mess this up. I plan on stenciling my concrete tomorrow, but you see I have this set up here with the stencil, and then I just painted some cardboard because that's the color that will be the base coat for it. I have some chalk paint, I have some porch paint, and some Rust-Oleum paint, which you can also paint on concrete. I'm not sure if I'm going to use these two yet. I know I'm going to use the white. I also have some newspaper. I have this here for roll off. I'll put some newspaper in here so I can roll my brush and make sure it's really, really light. I also have some crud cutter, which I'll need to use to clean. I have a variety of brushes, and I have the sponge roller. I have some small stencil brushes, which I'm actually going to cut. That's why the scissors are there. I'm going to cut this down to make it a little stiffer. I don't like the long bristles here because I don't want a lot of spread. And this is my basement. I have the workshop down here where I have all my tools and paints and all that good stuff. So check back in. I hope you'll follow along. Okay, so I did one pass. I rolled my roller in the paint, then I dabbed it or rolled it off here. Rolling off just means trying to get some of that paint saturation out so that the roller is really very faint. And so I can tell that I still had too much paint on the roller. Why? How can I tell? So this area right here, you see where it's all blotchy? That's where I did the very first roll. But you see way over here how crisp and lovely that is? That's the side where I had the least amount of paint. So now I understand I have to do even less paint, and I thought I had done like a little bit. So I'm still going to use this because I want to now play around with trying to see whether or not I want to use any of the colored paints that I have to add some definition. All right, so I have tried my hand at a couple of different the tools, and I actually just put away the one that I like the most. I'll get it out. So, well, there are actually two that I really think are going to be the most effective for me. This soft sponge 4-inch roller is going to be my best friend, and I have found that this rather hard, somewhat porous sponge is extremely effective. It may be because of the fine lines for this stencil. And then I also just noted that, you know, this is a piece of cardboard and it was a box before, so it's not completely flat. So this is not lying as flat as it will, you know, when I get it on the concrete tomorrow morning. But anyway, let me fold this up so you can see. You see I tried a green, a little black, but I used some of these stencil brushes that I'm not a fan of, at least not for this product. And this brush might work better on the concrete, to be honest, but anyway, it wasn't so hot here. So anyway, let me flip up here so you can see. It looks pretty cool, even though it's just a little testing. So down here, right there, that's where I used this awesome sponge, and it just really gave me the best control. Remember, this little section up here is when I did my very first pass, and I had way too much paint in that sponge roller, and it made it look hideous. This section right here also is where I used this awesome sponge. I tried some of these stencil brushes. I didn't like them at all. That stencil brush just made this blob. I didn't even have that much paint on it, but it's clear that those stencil brushes, they hold a lot of paint in the center, so I couldn't really see. I tried one of these little half brushes. This is an absolute no. Do not make this mistake. I'm so glad I'm testing. I haven't tested this small, thin little stencil brush yet, but what I don't really like is that the bristles are kind of, they're kind of loose, and I don't think I'll have that much control. So I have a couple more, about 3 more of these little sponges. I'm so glad that I just, on a hunch, ordered these, and I'm going to use these in that sponge roller. So let me go back to practicing because go date is tomorrow. And thanks so much for coming on this journey with me. See you on the other side.